Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Hope you're all doing well, and if not, perhaps this video could cheer you up a little bit. But today I'm going to give you my thoughts and review on the Book of Boba Fett. Now this review is a bit long overdue, finished way back in February, but better late than never. So the Book of Boba Fett. Boba Fett, one of the characters from people's childhoods from watching the original trilogy. He only has a few lines, but everyone just loves him because of his intimidation, his armor, his character, and it's just to see him as a kid in the prequels, to see his development now to the Mandalorian and the Book of Boba Fett. We see his story progress, but this is only the start of what we see of him. We're going to see a lot more of his development, and we see him coming from this villain to now in the Book of Boba Fett, someone who has changed, that wants respect and doesn't want to be a bounty hunter anymore. It's a very big shift of his character and his personality, but I think it was done pretty well. A lot of people wanted this to be more of a villainous story of a villain as the main character, and for him not to have any respect at all, just to be villainous. And it'll be kind of a big change to have a villain as the main character, but they kind of shifted away from that, took it a different, a path that we didn't expect, and I think that worked out pretty well. I think it did. The complaints I have about this show though is the Mandalorian coming in, taking 2 of the episodes away from Boba, seeing Boba as a brief cameo in his own show once in episode 6, nonce in episode 5, and episode 7 obviously they both team up. Obviously we needed this progression. Everyone loves the Mandalorian, but with the Book of Boba Fett having 7 chapters, I think they did waste a lot of screen time and potential with Boba Fett. But I guess that gives more mystery to his character, more to uncover in a more period of time. Maybe in season 2. I really hope they do season 2, because they left it off as the Pikes, which it was, in my opinion, weren't the very, you didn't really care about the villains. You didn't really care. Because they weren't given a face, you know what I mean? If you hadn't watched the Clone Wars or anything, you wouldn't know the Shadow Collective. If you haven't watched Solo, you wouldn't know the Shadow Collective and all that, how they work together. So they needed to expand on that more. The Pikes were just given just this community, this gang that was evil for Mos Espa and the streets of Tatooine. You didn't really care that much if the heroes won. It didn't really feel rewarding as much. It didn't feel earned. You needed the villain to have a face. I mean, they kind of did that with Cad Bane, but he was just a bounty hunter that wanted money. He wasn't the big face of it all, to this is the reason why I want to do it. Cad Bane only wanted to do it for money and for power. It's just, I just felt like we needed to have more of a face, more of a, because obviously there is more of a face. There is Crimson Dawn, there's Kira, but they didn't have anything to do with that. They didn't quote to it. They didn't hint at it. They just had the Pikes. If you get where I'm coming from, they defeated the Pikes. You're like, yeah, they won, but it didn't feel that rewarding. I mean, the only thing that felt rewarding for me is when everybody had respect for Boba. That felt rewarding, because they had no respect for Boba, and at the end of the show they had respect for him, and you see that progression. That was brilliant. The action scenes were brilliantly done. The Rancor, him riding the Rancor was brilliant. Grogu, I mean, episode 5 and 6, you can't lie, were amazing. Even though they didn't have any Boba Fett in, they were amazing. But I felt like, that needed to be in Mando season 3. I mean, obviously I miss Mando, I miss Grogu, but it's Boba Fett's show, So I think they did waste a bit of potential on that. But that's literally the only complaints I have about this show. Boba Fett not getting as much screen time, which can be, seen a different way, from a different perspective, as a good thing. And the villains having no face, but they could have that as building up tension for the next show, and then slowly revealing things that way. But they haven't revealed a season 2 yet, but Star Wars is very secretive, so we won't know until very later on. Whereas Marvel, which is another Disney big community, that literally reveals everything years before. So Star Wars is very secretive, and I kind of like that. It's a good thing, but it's also, you know, it makes the marketing not as good, makes the hype not as big. I mean, Star Wars, I mean, if you're a hardcore Star Wars fan, the hype's always going to be massive. But I think you get where I'm coming from here. I think the Book of Boba Fett, it was good, really good. If I were to rank all the episodes, I'll probably put episode 2, as a Book of Boba Fett show, episode 2 and episode 7 probably the top, or episode 4. I think episode 2 just because we had the Tusken Raiders, right? You know, it did this. It kind of like is a mirror image to Boba as well. So Boba was a villain. We always knew him as a villain. We always knew the Sand People as a villain. We had them team up together, and we see that some of the Sand People tribes, in Tusken Raider tribes, can be more innocent, more, you know, more humble, and they can be kinder, and they can be more stuck to religion, more trustworthy, and we see that in this Tusken Raider village. It's brilliant, and we get to see these two, you know, villainous characters team up together, and we see them in a different way, and it's quite nice. We see the religion, and it's just so much lore, and I love it. I love that. Slave 1, we see a lot of that. Brilliant action when he shoots down those, you know, people when he thinks they've killed his Tusken Raider family. It's brilliant. And then he gets his revenge on Cad Bane finally by killing him. But I think they have killed him. We see the blinking thing on his chest, the red blinking thing. But I don't know. We'll see. But Cad Bane looks so good in live action. He looks so good. I mean, the first time I saw him, I laughed a little bit because I thought he looked a bit strange. But as you watch it over and over, you realise how good it looks. How an amazing job they have done with the looks of Cad Bane. I think that's probably going to be the same with the Inquisitor and Obi-Wan, the Grand Inquisitor. We're going to grow to like him the more we see his face. Just the more I saw Cad Bane's, but now I'm like, I'm gobsmacked. I'm in bewilderment. I'm baffled by the looks of this man. He just looks like a badass cowboy that we've always known him to be in the Clone Wars and the Bad Batch. Amazing, his voice, everything. He's an old man, but he still kicks ass. You know, he still kicks ass. But yeah, I think this show overall was brilliant. And we see him create his gaffy stick. Obviously, that whole sequence was amazing. Yeah, him riding the Rancor at the end, the townsfolk. You know, we saw what's his name? Cobb Vanth. He's not dead, which is good. I don't know if he's gonna get his own show, but we saw him in the end credits scene, having, you know, tech things done to him, like the people that didn't look like they're supposed to be Star Wars put in their chest. I mean, I think the guy who directed those episodes directed Attila Angel, I think it's called, the film, which is quite Star Warsy in a way. Has those sort of speed bike looks, has those sort of machinery cut into them in an injury. If they have an injury, they can cut in machinery to make them even better, more superior. It's really cool, and I think it fits in Star Wars in a different way. It still feels like Star Wars, but in a way it feels, you know, borderline. You know, they're being very brave with it, which is really good. You need to be brave for shows, and they took that the right direction. But yeah, Dave Filoni, Jon Favreau have done an absolutely amazing job. Every director on this show, an amazing job. Just well done, everyone. Just the fans are being spoiled, man. They're being spoiled, aren't they? Yeah, we are being spoiled. Yeah, we are definitely. It you know, it puts a smile on all our faces, and that's what I love about Star Wars. It puts a smile on everyone's face. That's brilliant. So yeah, that's my review on the Book of Boba. Hopefully you did enjoy. I felt like I missed out something. I digressed for a second. I'll come back to this, and then I forget about it. But yeah, there's my review on the Book of Boba. Hopefully you guys did enjoy. Hopefully you guys did enjoy the Book of Boba Fett fully. We saw Luke and Ahsoka as well. Can't forget about that, can we? R2. We can't forget about talking about. Okay, we saw Ahsoka and Luke finally interact with each other. Briefly talk about Anakin, just like a father. It's brilliant. it's to see Grogu training with Luke, the mirror image of Luke and Yoda. It's beautiful, isn't it? It's the planet Luke was on as well was the views, the landscape. It was incredible. I loved it. Yeah, I think they did a really good job with the show. I mean, there's a few things that I would personally change if I was in charge, but obviously everyone has a different view on how they perceive things, how they want things to be, and go for it. I think it's brilliant to have this diversity in things, as long as it doesn't mess with lore and make all the fans unhappy like they did with the sequel trilogy. But the sequel trilogy, it still had some good things in it. You can't lie about that, well, in my opinion at least. But yeah, see you guys in the next one, the Book of Boba. What a show, what a show. I really hope they do a season 2. And if they don't, I'm going to knock on Dave Filoni and John Favreau's door and you know, give them all I have, just for them to make a season 2. It's you know, they really need to make another season, or at least, you know, Boba Fett needs to be in another show. But we need him to be the centre character, really. And to introduce Crimson Dawn, Black Sun. Oh, the potential. I can't wait. I'm very excited. But yeah, Star Wars getting more and more rapid as we speak. You know, Obi-Wan coming out this month. It's getting insane, guys. Official trailers maybe coming out in 2 days. I'm so excited, guys. Hopefully you are too. And yeah, see you guys next one. Hopefully you're doing well. Hopefully this cheered you up a little bit if you're not doing well, or if you weren't. But yeah, stay safe, guys. See you guys in the next one. May the Force be with you. Don't forget about that. Like a panther. Yes.